All right, welcome to the second review, third video of the evening. It's the thing when you have the impressions, it gets a bit tricky to keep track. Anyway, up this time is Katana-Ra, Shinobi Rising. In Shinobi Rising, people take on the role of a young shinobi who must solve a murder mystery and discover the culprit behind the death of an innocent child heiress. You have 8 hours. Stealth, combat, or glorious death. The choice is yours. Right. This thrilling adventure takes place in the Japanese-inspired cyberpunk universe of Katana-Ra and features stealth combat, puzzles, and clues to uncover. With stunning graphics and an engaging storyline, you are on a timed effort to uncover the truth behind this dastardly deed. So, it's not really telling me much about how the game is played.
No, it doesn't.
You can illuminate us on what this game actually is.
So it is a top-down, semi-stealth. I mean, you've got to stealth because otherwise you're going to die. I mean, you will anyway because it's not good. But, like investigation combat game.
Sure, we can.
The idea is that you have 8 hours of real time to solve the mystery. And if you die, depending on your mode, you either fail, lose a lot of time, or lose some time. And I think the middle one has... I played on easy because it was bad, and I wanted to not die immediately or stuff. So, like, for combat, you can crouch, and then you can't be seen as well. Enemies can hear near them and see a good distance in front of them. And you have a Shinobi senses button by clicking the right trigger or something on the keyboard. I don't know. I think it's like click the scroll wheel on the mouse.
Something like that, yeah.
If you're using mouse controls, that sort of tells you for things that are off screen where threats are and where investigatable things are. So your combat options when you get close to something are oddly positioned around the face button, and there is a disengage, which I assume is run away. The game didn't explain it. There is a distract, which you're supposed to probably use when you're not near a thing, so it doesn't see you. There is a wound, which is the first thing you have to do. And then there is the finish, which you can only do to someone who's dazed from being wounded and is a one-hit kill. And then and I quote, samurai ghost in your cybernetically enhanced sword eats the soul, and your ego goes up, and if your ego gets maxed out, your ancestor can possess you or something. I don't know. It never happened to me. Because I never made it through more than 3 combat encounters without dying. Because here's the thing. The controls on this are not good. Movement is extremely sluggish. The combat controls are non-responsive and often extremely delayed. The graphics have a kind of chromatic aberration that I usually associate with the camera with a flawed lens or being out of focus. They get a little bit better when you zoom in, but when you're zoomed in, you can't do anything. Also, you can move the camera, but if you move the camera, it tries to get back to its default position, and also your movement controls, if you're not using click to move, don't change. Like up on the control stick is north, even if you change it so that instead of north being at the top of the screen, it's at the west of the screen. Or at least that's how it was for me. Pettyfan has verified that this game's performance is ass, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I got him a copy because I was worried that there was something wrong with my computer, because there are only a couple of reviews, but none of them were talking about this. And the default demo reel looks a little bit better. Also, this game has 2 modes, which are full screen and frameless windowed, and you can't move it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I put it in the frameless window, you can't move it, because that's a wider screen resolution than my actual screen that's on my left screen, and I couldn't move it to my right screen. The only video option is quality.
And you only got, what is it, medium, high, and ultra?
Yep.
I'm
Nothing
pretty
actually
sure
scripted.
ultra would burst your computer into flames.
I used ultra and I didn't even notice a difference.
Fair.
Actually, no, that's not true. The chromatic aberration was a little bit less bad.
But it probably ran at, what, a half frame per minute?
I mean, it was running at about a half frame per minute to start with.
Fair.
Whenever anything was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of like the idea they're going for here as like a ninja investigation thing, where your combat mostly you have to stab people and your main thing is like sneaking around trying to gather clues and stuff. But this is bad. Also, I don't know where WRKS Games is from, but it feels a little bit cultural appropriation-y, because there's Japanese stuff on signs, but it seems to be mostly nonsense, and all of the voice acting seems to be generally martial arts movie accents.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Like, not terrible, but not good.
Well, I mean,
Also, the tooltips that show up during the tutorial, they go away on their own after a little while, but nothing you do seems to be able to make them go away faster, and the game does not accept any input while they're on the screen.
Yeah, that's not great.
And yeah, if you die, you get sent back a chunk, and time advances by like an hour or something, and you only have like 8 hours. So
Oh, Gulix, do you play with mouse and keyboard or controller?
I tried to use a controller because the mouse controls look dumb, because I don't enjoy the idea of the prospect of clicking the scroll wheel, which I remembered was a control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Why?
It did not like my PlayStation controller at all. So I had to try and play this with mouse and keyboard, and oh god, that acceleration.
Oh yeah, no, the acceleration is either non-existent or too high, depending on how it feels.
Way too high.
Yeah.
Like, I barely
when
moved
it's
my
not
mouse and it was
responsive.
doing circles around me, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. So yeah, also because I bought Pettyfan a copy to verify, I know what the cost of this is. It's $20. Honestly, I wouldn't buy this for like $5 outside of verifying that, and the $5 is still mostly to point and laugh.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those, this ain't great. There are definitely a lot better things you can do with $20.
Uh-huh. It's kind of a shame, because I like the splash screen kind of, and I like the idea, but this is implemented badly. In many ways. And also just lacks some basic, like, how your computer game should operate on the computer things. Like, allow there to be a windowed mode that you can move around between the screens, developers. We're not living in the DOS days anymore.
That's next week. Well, technically C64, and is that expected? But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Still the DOS days. It's just not on DOS.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that'll about do it for Shinobi Rising here.
Yeah, that's all I feel like I have to say about it.
Be sure to tune in after the break as we give our impressions of Nova Drift.